Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 21 of Scion of the Dark House. This is a 5th edition Gothic horror Dungeons and Dragons podcast. So there may be some things that might cross a line for some people, such as body horror, blood, gore, child endangerment, and other such things. If you come up against anything that does cross a line, please make sure that you take a break. Your support means a lot to us, but so does your mental health. So where we last left off was after you guys dealt with whatever the hell was happening with Dr. Argenta, you went back to the family home and had dinner with the family once again. And after you guys began to rest, you noticed something strange happening with Percy's sister, Belladonna. She seemed to have been vomiting and had a slight fever, as well as something moving inside of her stomach. Although she insisted she was well, it was very clear that she was not, and she was hiding something. The next morning, you all woke up, and apparently she was all better, until a little bit of poking and prodding later, something happened, and she seemed to explode into a starry field filled with tentacles, and a very familiar sight from Percy's visions appeared for all to see, before vanishing and leaving Belladonna collapsed unconscious onto the floor. And we start at that moment in shock as she is laying on the floor. What would you all like to do?
She's no longer like writhing with tentacles.
No,
right?
there are no
Cool.
tentacles. There's no blood river or weird mouth moon.
I'm gonna
Everything
make a
is normal.
medicine check, I guess. See if I can. I don't know. Like, look at what's wrong with her medically.
All right, give me that medicine check.
So,
It's a 23.
what's the word on breakfast? Are we still doing that? Or?
Not now.
What the fuck? That was supposed to be my line.
As you rush to your sister and start checking her, she is definitely sweating a little. Her body is definitely warmer. She is running a bit of a fever. But her heart is beating regularly. There is no elevated heart rate. And she seems to just be unconscious at the moment.
Question. I have already identified what was happening, the magic on her, right? Like it was necromancy and transfiguration.
Yes, but you don't know anything more than that. You have theories, but no definitive answers.
Percy sort of gently brushes Bella's hair out of her face. I don't know what I can do for her now, but that was from my vision. That whole place, the blood, all the figures and demons in the sky. I've seen it before.
So I'm not still drunk then, right?
No, that was
okay. Just making sure.
I just kind of look at my mom for kind of looking for reassurance.
She's kind of staring in shock.
So, do you agree that your family is cursed yet, or do you need more proof?
I think we're at the point where we'll believe anything. I feel this is a bit beyond my expertise. I deal with illnesses and sicknesses, not whatever's happening here.
Well, whom is it not beyond? It's not exactly the area of expertise for any of us either.
I'll stand up. Actually, I'll do my best to pick Bella up to take her back to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Get a wet washcloth to put over her forehead. but I come back downstairs and all I can think to do is go back to the house. It has to have something to do with it.
And leave her here like this?
I don't know what I can do for her here.
The only thing that I can think to do is to call Alex and see if he has any resources he can draw upon at the academy.
Good. Yeah, we should do that.
Right.
Didn't we find a necromancer?
Perhaps he knows one.
I don't know if I do.
I'm sure there's necromancers. There's a robust necromancy program at the Academy of Midnight Arts, but I'm not sure if that necessarily is what's going on. I've never known a necromancer to deal with tentacles before.
Nor have we. Perhaps it's wise that maybe she not stay here right now. I mean, should we? I don't want to move her, but it doesn't seem like it's not exactly her safety I'm concerned for, is what I'm saying.
Yes. I guess calling the academy, seeing if they can figure out what's going on here.
I'll message Alex.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Does Rerek know the like the Eldritch nature of whatever that thing was? Like,
roll me an
like
Arcana check,
Cthulhu.
I'll say.
I'm looking at it for the
It's a
specific
14.
spell.
14. No, I would say no. There's definitely something otherworldly about this, but you can't quite place your finger on exactly what. You haven't read a lot of books on these sorts of things.
So I'm gonna use the sending spell to contact Alex, and I only have 25 words, so I guess I'm gonna say like, Alex, we need help. Family house. Something is happening with Bella. Highly magical, potentially demonic. If you could bring a necromancer, if that all fits.
Yeah, Alex responds, "Oh, by the saints, I'll see if I can find someone." And then connection ends.
He should be here soon.
So now we can have breakfast?
Yes. So we'll go help Dad in the kitchen a little bit and spend the rest of the time waiting for Alex up in Bella's room.
Finally. I mean, terrible.
Yeah, so breakfast is eventually made. Of course, everyone is in a bit of shock as to what's happening. But as you are midway through breakfast, there is a glow that appears in the front hallway before a bright flash of light. And appearing is Alex, along with a woman in a green robe with wild red hair, holding a weasel who is wearing a very lovely vest.
Aww.
Is holding what appears to be a staff. And the weasel is actually first to address everyone.
Wonderful.
Hello, everyone. I was informed that there was a bit of a magical emergency here. Could you kindly direct me towards it and maybe describe the nature of it a bit?
Right this way. And I'll take him to Bella's room.
Real quick, that's a talking weasel, right?
It's very rude, Arthur.
Again, just trying to establish that I'm not still drunk. Right?
Well, I am not just a talking weasel. I am a professor.
Well,
show your respect to the professor.
Wonderful to meet you.
How lovely for you.
I am Percy. My rude friend here is Arthur, Lark, Rerek, and you probably know my family.
Yes, I believe you are related to Alex here.
Yes.
I am Maximilian Dupree, professor of sorcery studies and investigative magic. And this here is my head assistant. I forgot her name. This here is my head assistant, Moira LePage. She is my assistant specifically for the Sorceress Studies classes. From what has been described thus far by Alex, this may be a manifestation of sorceress powers. So we are here to confirm that. But if you can provide us with any other details as to what's going on before we make our checks, that would be lovely.
Wonderful. I'll just take them up to the rooms. Last night, I woke up to find my sister heaving into the toilet, and she claimed it was just a regular illness, but myself and my wizard friend, Rerek, performed some examinations, and he found both transmutation and necromancy magic on her. And there was something moving in her stomach. Then this morning, I was planning on having my mother take her to the hospital, but all of a sudden she collapsed, and we were sort of plunged into some sort of nightmare, a vision I've had several times, an ocean of blood, tentacles, demons flying overhead. She took us there and then sent us back as quickly as we came, and she's been like this ever since.
And he opens his vest and he reaches in and he pulls out a notebook that is definitely way too large to have been put in his vest, and a pencil, and begins jotting notes. If you could at least remain outside the room or within calling distance, let's just say, in case something goes awry, Moira and I will run our tests to see if she is indeed manifesting sorcerer's powers or if something else has happened.
Of course.
For flavor, like for some reason, Jasmine really is very interested in the Weasel Man, and I have to like kind of drag her from the room. No, you can't have it.
And with Rerek's curiosity, I just went to Professor Dupree, and I'm like, Professor, did you happen to develop one of these spells called the Earthen Grasp? Your name's on it.
Oh my God, it is. No, sadly, that was another Maximilian. Common mistake, I understand. Yes.
I had so many questions, but okay.
And he continues like making notes. So are you all staying in the room, or are you stepping out of the room?
Arthur's going to finish breakfast.
Percy has a respect for medical processes, so he'll just step outside but stay close.
Lark's gonna follow Percy, and once the door's shut, he's gonna be like, when my powers first manifested, I grew a beard out of feathers. I didn't conjure an apocalyptic vision that my brother had seen multiple times before.
Well, maybe that's just because you're a fairy. Maybe that's how humans do it.
Yeah, you also grew out of a flower. We're not exactly talking about the same physiology here.
I'm just saying, I know a little bit of sorcery at this point, and that didn't look familiar to me or anyone I'd know.
I don't think it looked familiar to anyone.
And Percy, apparently.
Well, apparently. So yeah, is that above game? Did Percy share his visions with us before? I
don't
can't
think
recall.
I ever did, no.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then Arthur's really confused as to why this is the first time we're hearing about the fact that you saw this before.
I didn't know what it meant. I was already asking enough of you to just come to the house with me. I didn't need to also tell you, oh, by the way, I might be cursed or something.
You didn't think that may have been information that was pertinent to our decision making at the time?
Well, when I asked you the first time, I hadn't had these dreams yet. But I was afraid that you would leave if I did tell you.
That's sort of my point.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We did not want to go to that house by myself.
Well, I can't exactly blame you for that, but the next round of ale is on you, is what I'm saying.
All right, that's fair.
How long is this weasel man, Maximilian? Sorry, still getting over the weasel bit. How long is this going to take anyway?
At that moment, you feel and hear a loud bang that rumbles the whole house, and the door opens. And Moira is holding a silver chalice that has one of its sides completely blown out. And it's smoking. And Maximilian walks out on the floor and goes, well, she is certainly manifesting sorceress powers. Apparently very strong ones. Usually that sort of test just causes sparkles or maybe a small gout of flame, no bigger than a candle flame. But I was not expecting an explosion. It's quite inconvenient, especially because silver is a very soft metal. But we can confirm she is manifesting sorceress powers. From where, we have absolutely no clue. It doesn't match any of the other reactions that we've had. She is not draconic. She is not fey or demonic. She is not any of the other sorceress lines that we've discovered and tested thoroughly. She is something completely different, but sorceress nonetheless.
Does
Perhaps.
not mean to be a sorcerer. It's in her blood, is it not? Somewhere in our bloodline there is magic?
Yes. Sorcery has a bad habit of hopping generations sometimes. Sometimes it is strong enough to manifest in every family member, and sometimes it is so weak that it only manifests in certain places, or it hops bloodline, hops family members or generations, sometimes multiple at once. It's a bit strange. So it is completely possible that it's dormant in your entire family for some time now and has only just now started manifesting.
And does it very commonly upon manifestation produce violent tentacle explosions?
Well, it can.
Movements in the stomach.
Well, it depends. Sometimes sorcerer's powers develop slowly. You gain a knowledge of it, a child fiddling with blocks and having one float into place or things of that nature. Others end up exploding in balls of flame that don't seem to burn them, but destroy the entire building that they were in for some reason. It just depends on how powerful they are. Of course, they can learn to harness their powers and become great sorcerers, even if they manifestation was small, but generally the larger the manifestation, the more violent the manifestation, the more powerful the sorcerer is, or the more powerful the being is that is their progenitor in a sense. But we've never lost a chalice to the test, so she is incredibly powerful.
Well, that's
ultimately
comforting.
she's not in danger, is she?
Well, if she does not learn how to control her powers, she most certainly can be a danger to herself and others. That is why we have a vested interest and a sorceries study department to ensure that there is a space in which sorcerers can learn to at least control the powers they have, if not manifest more safely.
So that's what you recommend? She begins training at the Academy of Midnight Arts?
That is probably for the best. We typically offer just the basic training course, and if they wish to pursue farther after that, then they certainly can at regular tuition.
Right.
Well, yeah, so...
thank you, Professor. I'm glad to at least hear that she's not cursed or sick or anything.
Right. While she is unconscious, she should be stable and nothing more should be happening. Once she is awake and she is well enough to move independently, it might be a good idea to have somebody contact us to come and safely pick her up and transport her to the academy to begin her training. The beginner's course doesn't take long. It takes about 2 weeks to complete, and seeing as how you are so close to the academy itself, she can return home at the end of her classes.
So, wait, let me see if I understand this right. She did this to herself on accident?
No.
Oh.
Her magic did it. The magic is a part of her, but it is somewhat separate. It comes from deep within, but it is affected by external forces.
So like a reflex?
In a way, yes.
Interesting.
And you've never run into an instance where you couldn't figure out what a sorcerer's power was coming from before?
Correct.
Lark's just gonna look at Percy and be like, your family's cursed. Why isn't anyone even saying it out loud? He doesn't say that out loud. Like, there's an elephant in this room.
Percy looks at you like, don't say anything. Thank you. We really appreciate your service here. We will definitely be contacting you shortly whenever she's ready to start training.
We will be taking just a moment. We will need a space to use chalk on one of your perhaps hardwood floors. Don't worry, after we complete the spell, it'll go away.
Yeah, I'm sure my mom has been like listening or something. So
yeah.
I'll just offer to her where would be a good place.
Yes, I'll move the table in the dining room. And they go downstairs and they cast a teleportation circle using chalk on the ground and then vanish. And the chalk seems to fizzle away as if it were gunpowder that has been lit, leaving no mark behind.
Wonderful. I just look back around well, definitely strange and mysterious, but ultimately not the worst news.
I guess not. I just don't know what exactly to do.
I suppose the interesting question is, So she's a sorcerer coming into her powers. Great. Why did that have to produce the same thing that you have seen visions of, Percy? Like what? What?
I don't know. I'm sure whatever's in Bella's blood is in mine too. I might not be manifesting it the way she is, but we're cut from the same cloth.
I mean, it does fit my theory currently.
That we're cursed.
Actually tied up in about you're cursed, your family made some sort of deal with whatever the hell that was. So, if he couldn't recognize it from any of the 9 hells, who knows? I think
So between you and me,
find her at your house.
how wise is it for us to stick around here? I mean,
I think the only answers we're going to find are likely in the house.
oh God, I knew you were going to say that. Mhm.
Oh, come on, Arthur, you're just caught up in a little prophecy. It's like a fun weekend.
It wouldn't be the first time. All right, fine. Okay, so back to the house, I guess. Yay.
Before you all head out, I did have a favor to ask you. Since you did rescue Ethel Drinttal from the horrific basement, we've been keeping an eye on her condition. And we believe that perhaps we may need to dip into our emergency stash of certain potions to see if there is anything else wrong with her. And it might be easier if the people that rescued her were there. It might make things a little easier. It shouldn't take very long.
Of course, I'd be happy to.
And I would be apathetic too, but sure, I'll go, I guess.
Should I try and see if any of y'all in your family has like try to detect if y'all have the same
I think
thing?
you did that already.
Did I?
It did pop
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think you did. Yeah, the parents.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, Mom, Dad, and Percy didn't have this around them. Only Bella did.
Never mind.
Great. Mhm.
We can go to the hospital whenever you need us.
Yes, we're going to do it right away, just so that you have some time to travel back to the house, of course. And thank you so much for doing this. It would be a massive boon, whatever information we could get out of her to help with her condition.
Of course. We can handle it right away.
I mean,
Arthur
you
does
could just
another good
string
deed
her
without getting
sister up
paid.
in front of her.
Are we taking votes or?
You don't have to come if you don't want to, Arthur. But I would appreciate it, and I'm sure Ethel would as well.
Yeah. Do a good thing, whatever. Arthur, like, he's jaded about it, but he actually does want to do the right thing. He's just upset that he feels that he has to.
Yeah.
Mm. So you all head back to the familiar hospital, now a bit torn up. There has been a great sweeping effort. A lot of the soot has been cleaned off of the floors. There are plenty of people that have been scrubbing the walls for quite some time, and the dust and ashes have been swept into large piles on the floor and is currently being swept into bags or dustpans or other things to be disposed of. there's been a great effort made to make it clean and sanitary, even if the architecture itself is damaged. And she leads you to a room where there is Ethel Drinttal sitting in her wheelchair, staring out of the window, still with that completely blank expression and white eyes. And she comes in and lays a hand on Ethel's hand and says, I'm going to see if I can help you, okay? So I need you to trust me. I know you're in there somewhere. We brought the people that brought you out of the basement. Hopefully that'll put you at ease a little bit. And a nurse brings your mother a vial of a sort of pinkish liquid. And she takes the vial and uncorks it. Well, here goes nothing. It's the first time we've had to use it in quite some time, but hopefully this helps. And she drinks the vial and hands it back to the nurse. And then she sits down on the bed next to Ethel and puts her hand over her hand again and kind of closes her eyes and takes a few deep breaths. All right. Well, it seems to be working. She is responding. I should probably explain. I'm sorry. This is a potion of thought reading. We've had to use it a few times on patients in very deep comas for various reasons. We don't have a lot of them, but I thought this would be a good time to use it. And she seems to not be resisting, so we're making some progress. And she closes her eyes once again. All right. And then she starts frowning and that's not good. Where is this? And then suddenly the room seems to expand and then contract so violently you are all thrown forward, or at least feel as though you are thrown forward. And for a moment, your vision goes black and you feel like you are sailing through the air before landing roughly on stone, and your vision returns to you. You are all
Here
laying
we go again
on a stone floor in a dark room, except the front of the room, as you get up and face out, was a wall of very tall arched windows. But something has happened to it. It's been blown out. There's rubble everywhere. And outside, you see an incredibly dark, stormy sky. And more of this building extending forward, and a very tall tower with what appears to be maybe a castle sitting at the top. Lightning bolts are striking the roof, sending shingles flying. You can hear the rumbling of stone falling. And as you turn, you see you are in a cafeteria of some kind. Dark, cold, gray, no light sources to speak of. Long tables with identical wooden stools along them. Percy, you would probably recognize that this is an older style of hospital, but it is completely and utterly in disrepair. And you notice your mother is standing there as well, hauling herself up from the ground and brushing her dress off. What the hell just happened?
I
I
have
was
no
going to
idea.
ask you the same thing.
Can I look at Ethel and see if she's sort of like unresponsive?
There is no Ethel.
Oh. Where did Ethel go?
Where is this? How did we get here? And how do we leave?
The tower reminds me of the Tower Tarot card.
Some sort of
derelict
old hospital.
Yes.
Can I nature check, like see if I recognize the landscape outside?
Sure.
Let me see. I gotta switch over to skills. It's different. It's different on the phone. Hang on, let me.
Do I know this?
Oh God. Okay, that's a 9. So
you can make me an Arcana check if you'd like. Did you get that nature check yet?
oh yeah, that was a 9.
Oh, yeah. You
Yeah,
don't
that's-
recognize anything about this landscape. There seems to be no landscape beyond the building. You stand and look at the edge and you look down and the building seems to continue down into fog. And you look and there seems to be no mountains or landscape of any kind beyond the walls of the hospital on either side. There is no landscape.
I don't. Are we not on the earthly plane anymore? Because this doesn't look like anything I've ever seen, and I've explored quite a bit.
My initial Arcana throw was a 10, but can I do my portent throws?
Yes.
Wow, terrible luck. A 4 and a 6. I'm not using any of that shit.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well, use it later.
Yeah. So what was
am I
it?
using
14?
it for?
What was the initial Arcana roll? 12?
A 10.
A 10. Oof. Yeah, this is just absolutely and utterly bizarre. It reminds you of dream logic in a way. The building going on and on forever down into the mist and there being nothing beyond it. It's very dreamlike, but I mean, that could be anything. It could be the Shadowfell. It could be literally in her mind. It could be a variety of things. You don't quite know.
Could I make some kind of check as the only person who's not from the material plane?
Yes. And because you are from the Feywild, you can make either a nature or Arcana check.
I don't think I'm skilled in either one.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, my fly speed only meant that I only got 4 skills instead of 6, so this is fine. So you said nature or Arcana. Hey, look, it's the same damn modifier.
Ah.
It's AKA, I'm not adding anything to this roll.
Oof.
Oh.
Come on, luck.
Oh, no.
Come on, luck. That's a 3.
Yeah. Similar thing. It's very dream logic-y, but a lot of planes have dream logic-y logic to them. So you could be anywhere in the multiverse.
Is it possible to touch the ground or the wall and identify it? I'm stretching out, whatever.
I would say no.
I think
That wouldn't be
bit of a
possible.
stretch.
That is a bit of a stretch. Good thinking, but it doesn't quite work.
In character, Lark, the rest of us are completely bewildered. Do you have any otherworldly insights in that wily brain of yours?
Well, honestly, we could be anywhere at this point. Lark's just gonna like just suck the tip of his finger for a minute and put it in the air and be like, I'm clueless to where we wound up, but I don't think we're stuck in the material plane, at least. It's not half as drab and dreary here.
Great.
We are surrounded by nothing but fog and thunderstorms. I don't have another word for this other than dreary.
Oh dear.
We got here using Mom's thought reading potion.
Potentially.
How do we get
events
out?
are connected. I guess first things first, let's start walking. There's not even any food in this cafeteria. What good is it?
Yeah, I guess I'll walk into the hallway and get a perception check to see if there's like any discernible like hint of a direction we should be going.
I'm so sorry, but I think I've been failing to use my modifiers.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
So
I
what's
think my
the
Arcana-
bonus on your Arcana?
It's a +5.
Oh, so you would have had a 15 then. If your dice roll was 10, and that's a 15.
You know what? I think let's just move forward.
Okay.
All right, so we'll take the 10, just pretend you rolled a 5.
Yeah.
And then we'll move
Everything is-
forward using modifiers. Great.
Make sure you use those. Very important.
Yes. So it seems that the exit from this room there are 2 doors on either side of the room. From what you can see of this hospital, it seems to be a square with the wall parallel on the opposite side being the place where the large castle tower thing is coming out of. So you presume that either side will lead along the outside of the perpendicular hallways and lead to that tower. It is just a square, most likely for ease of access.
Looks like
Before we start
happy to go
walking
to that
anywhere,
tower.
agreed. I mean, that was the creepiest looking place in this whole joint. So naturally, that's where we're headed. Before we start walking anywhere, can I 1 minute of concentration for primeval awareness and also Jasmine's keen smell?
Okay.
Okay, so
and
let me
is
roll her keen
undead?
smell. Yeah, just undead right now. When I get my next greater favored enemy, it'll be another thing. But right now, it's just undead. Okay, and Jazz's keen smell was 18.
Okay. So you don't sense any undead. There are no undead in this entire place.
Good to know.
And because your sense extends out to like 5 miles, you get a sense after your awareness expands beyond the hospital, after a certain point, there's nothing. It's as if the world just unravels into void beyond the walls of the hospital in all directions. And eventually, nothing exists outside.
Lovely. Did Jazz smell anything?
She smells a lot of stone, a lot of dust. However, she does smell, strangely, roast chicken and wet dog not too far away.
Okay, so to the group, couple of things. So one, I thought it might be prudent to search the area for undead. You know, we never know what we're going to get into, or rather we do. The odd thing is I couldn't extend my senses beyond the walls of the hospital. They wouldn't go any further. I couldn't feel anything out there. And I don't just mean empty air, I mean nothing. And another note, Jasmine smells roast chicken. And also, she was really not happy about this, a wet dog.
Here.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could eat. So I can have her lead us there, or we can go check out the tower. What's the general direction? Like, was it coming from a different direction than the tower, where she smelled it?
So facing the hole in the wall, to the right, there's an exit, but she didn't smell anything from that direction. From the left and down the hall a little bit is where she smelled the roast chicken and wet dog.
Okay.
How far do you think that is from us?
Lark's just going to look at Arthur and be like, you would eat here.
Well, I would eat anywhere. I mean, the chicken smelled good. At least Jasmine thought so. So, I mean, breakfast was nearly 45 minutes ago.
In Sylvan, Lark just says to himself, he would be so easy to trap back home.
I don't know what you said, but I can't help but feel like you were disparaging me.
Should we go find whoever's cooking chicken and washing their dog up ahead?
I mean, following the scent of food has never failed me before, so.
All right. We'll
Are we
start
taking
walking
votes?
down that hall.
Fair enough. I guess that's what way we're going. Rerek, are you coming?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll gaily forward then.
Give me just a second.
You know, it makes me nervous when I see you checking stuff like that.
Yes. What book is this? Just making sure I have the right books out. So you find your way down the hallway. It's literally one door down the hallway. And as you enter it, it is another large stone room. You notice two things. Number one, all of the doors are evenly spaced down the hallway, but as you enter this room, it is significantly larger than what the door placements would allow for this place. It's a similar sort of room, very large, rectangular, stone floor, stone walls, except this time it is about 10 feet up where the windows start. And then an additional 10 feet of window, and then the ceiling. It is filled with rows upon rows of the same wooden crib. Some of them are a little bit more broken, some of them are more intact, but it seems to be a nursery of sorts.
So Arthur's pretty confused when he walks in. He just kind of like peeks around back into the hallway, looks at the door, looks back into the room.
You do also see in the
hallway.
corner two dogs. Their backs are to you, their tails are wagging violently. They're very, their hair is very matted and dirty. And they seem to be just feasting on something, which seems to be in an overturned crib that was dragged away from the rest of them.
Are there babies in the cribs?
You can't see from this distance. However, you do hear the occasional faint baby cry as if a baby is lonely and wants attention.
If there were babies here, Jasmine would have smelled something, which above game. Speaking of which, Jasmine is really not happy that there are dogs there. She just kind of crouches low and starts like growling, like ready to attack something. And Arthur just like, no, not yet.
I'm going to.
Like, I always heard that mortals kept their children in large groups after birth. I've never seen such a place myself, though.
How sure are we that those dogs are eating a baby?
There's no baby. Right? There's no babies. I don't know where
Babies
that sound
smell
came
like
from.
roast chicken when you cook them?
I really don't want to answer that.
They do not smell like roast chicken.
I would think not.
Well, we can discuss the taste later.
I just realized that Arthur would know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Moving on.
So do we want to do anything about this?
I don't know.
Or should we just go?
Jasmine's like slowly creeping closer and closer to the dogs, and I'm like, I don't know how much
From
longer
here,
I'm
they
going to be
look
able to
like
hold her off.
normal, like probably like, you know, mangy and unkept dogs, but they're still just like dogs, right?
As far as you're aware.
Okay.
It seems, though, as Jasmine is creeping closer, one of them rolled a 19 on a perception check. And it
wasn't going for stealth.
seems to notice it whips around and growls. It has 2 heads.
Oh.
Oh,
Wonderful.
great. That's
Lark's
Its
wonderful.
hackles
Eye for
raise
the-
up. And it just
Okay.
snarls. And you also notice from its mouth begins dripping its large, unnaturally large amounts of very thick, mucus-like spittle that is green.
Unfortunately, I think at this point, Jasmine is going to attack it.
Fair
Those dogs are
enough.
not right.
I will
Yeah,
let her get an attack roll on this thing. And then I will need everyone to roll initiative.
Sorry, so there was one dog
There are 2 dogs.
with 2 heads each.
Apparently
So
with 2 heads.
Is it 4 or is it 2?
There are 2 bodies, 4 heads.
It's like men.
What?
Okay, so
Okay,
Jazz naturally
cool.
is going to go for a pounce.
Mhm.
And she got a, hang on, I forgot the bonus for that, but I rolled a 17. I'm sure that hits. I'm just looking.
Yeah, that hits. That for
Right.
sure hits.
Okay, let me see. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read on my phone. What is her? Okay, so it's a claw attack, and then she can do a bite. So
Mhm.
that is D4 plus 6. D4. Okay, so that's 9 damage for the claw attack.
Mhm.
And I need a strength check.
Just a straight check.
Yep, DC 12.
Well, it rolled a 16, so it's staying upright.
Okay, and we're good. That's it for Jasmine, and we are rolling for initiative, right?
What was the damage? Was that just all the bite and the claw? Was the 9?
That was, she doesn't get the extra bite if he succeeds the strength check. So that was
okay.
just the claw, yeah.
All right.
We are doing,
So yes, now it is initiative.
That's
oh, it doesn't let me do
16.
advantage there. Hang on, let me do it
16
here.
for Rerek.
Aha,
I
There we
got
go.
a 6.
6 for Lark.
and I got a
I also
25.
got a 6.
6 for Percy and 25 for Arthur.
Yes.
So actually, quick question for Percy. Would you like to run your mom in combat for me?
I can definitely do that.
Oh
All
God, I
right.
forgot she was here.
Yes. So she is going to be using the priest stat block.
Okay, is that just in the player handbook?
Yes.
Oh, she's
Or well,
a
the
page.
monster manual.
Oh, monster manual. Okay, I can find that then.
Yes. Yeah. So if you could run her for me, that would be amazing.
Did we get initiative for her?
Yes, I forgot. Her
will-
initiative is 19.
Dang, mom.
Okay, so she's right after me.
Yes.
Well, or if monsters, yeah. Okay, so we are doing. Okay, so that's a plus 10.
It just keeps me from having to run an NPC, and it makes
Yeah.
sense that you would do that.
For sure.
So while you are doing that, up first is Arthur. So you have one dog that has noticed Jasmine, and the other dog is still ripping into this chicken that you don't know where it got it from.
You know what? Okay, so I'm not familiar with the mechanics exactly, but would I get surprise and therefore a sneak attack on the other dog if I attacked it, since it's still eating the chicken?
You know what? I will say yes. You will.
Then I'm going to go for that one because Jazz looks like she's doing a good job with this other one here. That is a 26 to hit.
Oh, yeah, that hits.
And then what the hell does sneak attack do? Where is it? Here we go.
It's if you have advantage.
Extra 1d6.
Yes.
Okay. So that was the dragon wing bow, by the way. So I'm sorry, I have to flip back and forth between so many things. Okay. D8 plus 7 plus 2d6. Okay, D8, 2d6. Roll. Okay, so that is fire damage, doesn't matter? Okay, then that is 17 damage.
17 damage, dang. As you fire your bow, you draw back the string and the flames wreath around the arrow before you release it, and it lodges itself right between the shoulder blades of this dog that rears up, and once again its two heads bark wildly as it swings back and forth, spraying its green spittle on the wall. And as the green spittle hits the wall, it steams a little.
That's acid. It's got acid spit.
And it whips around and growls at you, but it looks hurt. So next up, unless you have Jasmine still.
Jazz, yeah.
Yes.
So she's just gonna, well, she can't pounce. We're just gonna do another claw attack on the same. Actually, let's go for a bite. We're gonna do a bite on the same one she already attacked. And that is a 17 also.
Oh, yep, that hits.
Okay, and then that's D6 plus 6 pierce. So that is 11 piercing damage.
She just tears into this dog, swiping at its face, swiping at one of its faces, and just takes off chunks with it, although it doesn't really make that much of a difference to its overall appearance. But now it is also looking even more haggard. So next up is Elisandree, Percy's mother.
I cannot find the priest stat block.
Oh dear. Since I have the book, would you like me to send you a picture of it via
Sure. I mean, if
Instagram?
it's just the regular monster manual?
Yes.
You could just tell me the page. I could.
Oh.
I just don't know where it is in here.
The priest stat block is on page 348 of the regular monster manual.
348. 346, 347, 348. There it is. Okay. Does she have a weapon, or probably not? She's a hospital worker. So
yeah, I would say she would
just
probably
magic.
not have the mace on her.
Yeah. I guess she's just gonna cast spiritual weapon, which for her, I don't know, what's like a what do you think a hospital person would have as their spiritual weapon?
Probably like a caduceus that would like
good.
swing like a club.
Yeah, she'll summon a big glowing caduceus and command that to attack the dog.
Which one? The one that Arthur shot or the one that is currently engaged with Jasmine?
I guess we'll go for the one with Jasmine. Try to get that off of Jasmine, maybe. Let me get spiritual weapon. There it is. So it's like a melee spell attack, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets a plus. What is her spell? What's her bonus? So a +5 to hit, I think. Oh, well, she rolled a 9, so I don't think it hits.
9 plus what?
No, there's a 4 + 5, so it's
Oh,
9.
yeah, it does not hit. It notices this large glowing thing floating, and it makes a swipe, and both of the heads duck out of the way over the head. I believe spiritual weapon is a bonus action, so she can do one of her cantrips.
Oh, it is a bonus action to cast. I thought it was like an action, and then you commanded the bonus action. She'll cast Guiding Bolt on.
She can only cast a cantrip.
Right. Cool. She'll just do a Sacred Flame then.
All right. And so that is a dex save on my behalf.
Yes, and you need to beat an 18.
It got a 13.
Cool.
So it fails.
So, what level do you think she is? Oh no, it has level.
It says she's a 5th level, so she gets the same 2 dice as you do. 5 and a 1, 6 damage. So she hurls this flame of light towards this dog, and it ripples across its body, burning it. And next up would be Rerek. Both of these dogs are looking pretty hurt, although the one engaged with Jasmine is very hurt.
Okay. Let's just try to get rid of both of them. I'll use the magic missile.
Ooh. Are you casting it at base level or?
No. Do I only reach 2nd level?
No, you had 3rd level spells because you're a 5th level wizard, 6th level wizard.
So it's 3 + 1 for every spell slot above 1st, right?
Yes.
3. So yeah, so you have 3 darts or 4 or 5 if you use the 3rd level slot.
Oh wait, no, it's 4 + 1 for every level above.
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
So I have 6 darts.
If you cast it at 3rd level.
Yes, I want to cast it at 3rd level and give each of them 3 fucking darts.
Right.
Just make sure you mark off your 3rd level spell slot then.
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
So roll me the damage. And just to keep you from rolling like 6 dice, I'll just say roll the first 3 and we'll say the damage is equal to both since you're sending 3 darts. Yeah.
Great. So
we'll just
my
say
first
that.
one is a 4.
Okay.
A 2. And a 4. And I will actually use my portents. One of them is a 4. Or does that only work on the
you
D20?
can't use it on damage rolls.
They're bad rolls, so you can give them to an enemy to make them do bad.
Yes.
I forgot about that. Okay, it's 4, 2, 4 then.
All right.
10.
So
10.
yes. So each one of them takes 10 points of damage. So both of them are hit super badly by these darts, just blasting their bodies. Hair and chunks of flesh go everywhere. They scream and writhe. One of them, the one that Jasmine and the floating caduceus is engaged with, looks just about on its last leg. It's sagging to one side, trying to keep itself up, but it is still dripping spittle. And it is Lark and Percy. So whoever has the highest dexterity should go first.
What's your dex mod?
I got a +2.
Same. your next score.
We just sit there playing rock, paper, scissors in the back. You get to go first. You can go first.
I guess I will cast an Eldritch Blast.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna Eldritch Blast and send a beam at each of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be. What do I add to this again? Eldritch Blast. That's a 27 to hit one and a 14 to hit the other.
Both hit.
Okay, yeah, I rolled a 5 and an 18.
And because you have Agonizing Blast, which adds how much to your...
So my Agonizing Blast, since with our last level up, I capped Lark's Charisma modifier, so it adds an additional 5 to anything I hit with Eldritch Blast.
Okay, so one of them just dies. It had 3 hit points. That's why I was checking. One of them, you fire the beam at him, and you hit right between the 2 heads, and it just splits it in half. The other one, however, you will have to roll for. It has more hit points.
This is the one by the chicken, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So that is 2 plus 5, so 7 damage.
7.
Well, it is still hanging on, and it is guarding its chicken. It is also beginning to kind of sway a little bit as one of the dog's eyes is rolling. It is very clearly in pain, but it is still hanging on. So now it is Percy.
I feel bad for this thing. I'll just do a good old guiding bolt then. Roll the hit. That's gonna be, what's his modifier? That's a 14.
Yep, that hits.
Hell yeah. Guiding bolt. How much damage do you do? Is it just 2d8s? I think I'm remembering it being 2d8s or is it 38?
46.
46. I'm just wrong in general. 6, 3, 4, 13. 1, so 14 damage.
You blast this thing with your guiding bolt, and it just slams into the side and sends it careening into the wall, and it flops down to the ground and expires. And you are out of combat.
I walk over, I guess. I want to see if there's babies in here, first of all.
All right, make me an investigation check then as you begin to search amongst the cribs.
Can I give him the help action with Lark just flying overhead, snooping for babies?
Yes.
All right.
While they're doing that, Arthur just shouts at Elisandree, "Welcome to the party, Mama Kruetzwald," and he puts up his bowstring hand for a high five.
She tentatively just raises her
a,
hand and gives a very sort of apathetic high five. I'm not sure I'm going to like this.
How big is this room?
What did you say? How big is the room?
Yeah.
Probably a good maybe 30 feet by 50 feet.
Percy got a 19 on investigation.
You look through all of these cribs. There's no baby in any of these cribs.
Did I not say there were no baby? What are you doing?
I thought I could hear them. And I look over the dogs. It was just chicken they're eating,
yes, right? It is definitively chicken.
And I do detect magic.
I'm
Detect
a little
magic?
insulted that you have less faith in Jasmine's nose.
I
Like a
don't
30
know.
feet
This
radius.
is a weird place. Maybe they were
There
dreaming babies or
is
something.
a ton of illusion magic everywhere. It is blinding. It's as if everything is made out of illusion magic. You're muted.
Were the dogs not real? I wouldn't know. They're already dead. Holy crap,
Did
guys.
the dogs have illusion magic on them?
Yes.
Are we just like in the hospital tearing shit up?
Oh my god! And we ruined someone's lunch.
So none of this is real. Real?
Seems
I
so.
don't know. I guess reality is perception. And while we're sitting here talking, Jazz like sneaks over to where the chicken was, like sniffs it, realizes that it like smells like acid, and she like sneezes, backs away.
Yeah, and it's also probably gone off horribly, which is strange because it smelled lovely and roasted in the other room, but now that she's up close, it smells like it's gone off and it's cold.
Weird. That was oddly quick for chicken to expire, but okay,
How do
not the
we
most
get
important
out of
fact.
this? Let's figure out how to get out of here.
Mother, there isn't like in whatever room we were just in, there's not like a nursery right next to it or anything.
No, and our nursery isn't this big.
Wait a minute. Could Argenta have put some kind of spell on Ethel's mind to prevent you from searching through it?
It's certainly possible. And she's
And now-
actually going to make a quick check. Nope.
Nothing.
I have no idea what this could be.
Good to know. So, I don't know, perception check. Is there anything else around here besides the dead dogs and the chicken in the room?
Sure. You can make me a perception check.
Well, actually, I'll just give you passive. Passive's 15.
Okay. You do still hear a baby crying somewhere off in the distance. But other than that, there doesn't seem to be anything else in the room besides the dead dogs and you guys.
Okay, so now I do want to actually make a real perception check. Can I, in like what direction it's coming from, maybe?
Sure.
Okay, so let's do, I gotta switch back over to skills. It's not all in the same thing. Skills, perception, crit, that's a 25.
Once you start listening to it, as you were just like listening to it passively, it seems like it was coming from the cribs, as if you could, if you focused and started following it, that you could find what crib it was coming from. But once you actually started focusing on it, it doesn't seem to be coming from the cribs. It seems to be coming from all directions, but definitively only from in the room.
Interesting. Okay, so do you guys hear that? Like, are you getting that?
Yes, it's not constant. It's only occasional.
Yeah.
And it pops up at weird random intervals.
Yeah.
What I mean
I
is,
see
it
it.
doesn't.
See invisibility?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Will that work on this? I don't know.
Can you cast that as a ritual?
It's I don't understand this magic, this spell, but I don't know why I have it. But it says for the duration, you see invisible creatures and objects as if they were visible, and you can see into the ethereal plane. Ethereal
Okay,
creatures
so-
and objects appear ghostly and translucent.
Yep. It does not appear to be a ritual, so you would have to use a spell slot to do it.
So
Yeah.
I'm like doing it to myself. And what do I see?
You don't see anything. Nothing appears. However, you can't seem to... You realize as you are looking around, this place is the ethereal plane. But you can't see into the material plane.
Oh my gosh.
What is it,
You-
Rerek? What did you
what
find
do you
out?
see?
According to my spell, we are in the ethereal plane. What?
Okay. Well, we knew we weren't on the material plane. I guess it's good to have a better idea about where we are, and yet how do we get back? I have no interest in having ethereal chicken for lunch.
If this is Argent is doing, I think we just have to keep going.
So towards the tower then?
It seems to be the only option.
All right, head for the dark and scary place. What else is new?
Yeah, I'll keep walking.
All right.
So what
Back
do
out
we
into the
know about
hall
the
and-
ethereal plane exactly? Like individually?
I don't think I would know shit.
You, especially since you were like a plane hopper, you would know that the ethereal plane is connected to the astral plane and it touches every realm. But the ethereal plane touches living things both through their physical forms and in their minds, which does allow for odd little pockets to form made entirely of people's imaginations within the ethereal plane that someone casting something like blink or etherealize or other things wouldn't be able to access, but they're there.
If I had blink, would I have been able to leave? Oh, I don't know if you're supposed to answer that.
If you do ask that question, Lark, you would probably know that's not really how that works. You're not popping into the part of the ethereal plane that is touching the creature's mind. You're popping into the ethereal plane that is connected to the physical reality. It's kind of where ghosts go, but there's more to ghosts than just their forms. That part kind of extends into the ethereal plane, allowing them to move in between both. It's very bizarre. It's the place where dreams go, the place where the astral sea brings things into the human mind. And so it's kind of the plane of dreams and connected with that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you're most likely in something created by Ethel Drinttal's mind.
Oh. Okay. So Lark's just gonna be like, oh, well, after you say ethereal plane, he's gonna be like, we're trapped in her nightmares. How wonderful.
Wonderful is your response to, and I quote, we're trapped in her nightmares, end quote.
Arthur, darling, there's this invention called sarcasm that I feel like you dance around sometimes, but you have a very, very poor ability to understand it when it's applied to you.
Listen, I am more interested in the literal. Forgive me.
So we're in Ethel's mind. Can she hear us? Can she just let us out?
Well,
Ethel?
I'm not sure. If this is created by her mind, it most likely was not created out of just a daydream she was having. It probably involved a lot of stress and trauma, and there's a possibility she doesn't have total control over it, but that might be why she is in a catatonic state. There's a possibility.
It didn't exactly seem like her mind was in a great functioning order. I don't know that asking her to let us out is the best course of action, but I suppose it couldn't hurt. Shout to the rafters if you like.
I mean, her sister sold her to a mad surgeon butcher who tortured her for untold numbers of years. To my understanding, that's what happened, right?
Right. Well, I mean, I guess let's go see if the princess is locked in the tower.
That was my next suggestion.
this is the only direction we can go. So
Lark's
And
gonna look
Arthur
over
gets
towards
no
Percy's
chicken.
mom and just be like, maybe next time you have a catatonic torture victim, you shouldn't use that potion, darling.
This has never happened before. That's the thing. I thought it would be like all the other times that we used it. It would just allow us to talk to the patient, perhaps get a record of their last will and testament in case they died on an operating table and things like that, not sucked into a nightmare realm of their own creation. This is highly irregular.
Well, I should get that tattooed. This has never happened before. I wonder how many times we're going to hear that today.
okay, we can all stop ragging on my mom and try to get out of this hellhole.
I wasn't, Arthur says, walking towards the hallway. I wasn't being rude. I'm just observing a fact. Does anybody want to keep count?
We were just being helpful. Now she knows better. Don't use the creepy potion on torture victims.
Oh, and you're one to talk about what's creepy.
Okay, let's go, boys. Let's moving on.
Yes, we probably should keep moving. Who knows what's in this place?
Yeah, Arthur's been like walking as he said that last. He's like walking out the room.
Mm-hmm. As you are walking down the hallway, you notice some of the doors are indeed open. Some of them are not. And the repetitive pattern of door after door after door, you kind of lose track of exactly how long you've been walking. And as you stop to rest for a little bit, you realize you're not in the hallway anymore. You're in another room. There's a door behind you and a door in front of you. And in the middle, there are 3 operating tables with 3 mangled bodies on them, halfway through whatever surgery, putting strange parts on them. And in the back is a wall of vials and other strange things and racks of tools, most definitely used on or during something. You don't know what, but you are here now. It seems that the reality has shifted around you.
How did we... Oh, God, we're never going to make it to that tower.
Can I inspect the bodies? Like, does it look like, I think she like a dragonborn arm or something? Does it look like the people that were like grafted onto her?
There are a variety of different body parts that have all been stitched together.
Okay.
You can't tell quite where they've come from. Some of them are so tiny, like fingers, or even tips of fingers and toes, or pieces of skin where you can't quite figure out, did this come from an elf or a human? The skin texture and things of that are this very similar. You don't see any with dragonborn arms, and you don't see any dragonborn themselves. You do see a lot of parts that could be from some kind of lizard, but you don't know.
Okay. I say, let's just keep going forward like this. I don't have time for this. What's behind the door at the end?
Is anything in the room like moving or making a noise or anything, or is this just presented to us?
It is just presented to you, at least at the moment.
Okay.
Yes, I guess we should keep carrying on.
I mean, fingers crossed we don't end up walking through the door we just presumably came through. I guess Arthur's gonna walk up and open the door at the far end and just kind of like look out.
It is once again more hallway, but you are at a corner. As you look out, there are some doors, but then it turns and there is a hallway, and you look the other way and the hallway continues back to presumably where you came from, which is bizarre because this doorway leads perpendicularly to that hallway. But it seems you are either slightly further down the hallway or you've completely swapped sides of the building.
Okay, so we can go either to the right or kind of forward-ish?
So you can go either right and go down a very long version of the same hallway with the windows on one side looking out into what presumably would be a courtyard if it had a floor. And
right.
Or you could head to the left for a few feet and then turn and start heading forward. Yes.
Do we know if we can blast through these walls?
I mean, I don't know that it's going to get us anywhere, to be honest. Just walking seems to be difficult enough. Can I keen smell just for shits and gigs? Keep an eye out.
Sure.
Okay, well, that was garbage, and I got an 8.
Interestingly, Jasmine does pick up on something.
Oh,
sulfur.
That's nice. Fabulous.
It is so overpowering that she cannot seem to smell anything outside of just sulfur.
Lovely. Okay. Well, I'll share with the group. So in the continuing the saga of what does my cat smell now, is sulfur now. So does Jasmine or actually me, does this smell that Jasmine is smelling, does it smell similar to when we found the demon ichor in the pot?
Well, sulfur is sulfur. There's no additional smell on top of it.
So it's just the
sulfur.
sulfurous. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Got it. Okay. Well, so for what that's worth, that's can I tell which direction it's coming from? Or is it like one of those all around things?
It is coming from around the corner.
All right, boys. So head towards the stink or away from it?
The direction of the stink towards the tower.
Perhaps it's kind of hard to tell.
No, it might have been that. I don't know.
Well, the path of least resistance is likely not the right way. So if they're guarding it, it's worthwhile.
I was afraid you were going to say that. Arthur's very upset right now because he's used to being able to get around and navigate very well. He's a natural explorer, so this is really throwing him off his game.
Yeah.
I mean,
would I know?
Wait a minute.
Keep going.
What? No, go ahead. I just couldn't hear you guys. You both went at the same time.
Yeah, go ahead, Kyle.
Lark just says some of the funnest parts are the stinky ones.
Yeah, not touching that with not firing an arrow at that one.
I was gonna ask if I would know what smelling the sulfur means. Because I know in real life, if there's sulfur, you're underground and you're by lava.
Yes. Well, of course, there is that. But also it is representative of demons, devils, some aberrations. It's just sulfur. There is no other smell on top of it. So there are a variety of things that give off a sulfurous smell. Some dragons give off a sulfurous smell, particularly the ones that breathe fire. Some.
Do I smell like freaking sulfur?
Most likely not.
Well, Maybe only when you
Your breath.
sneeze.
Yeah. But there are a variety of things that give off a sulfur smell. And especially since you seem to be in some sort of dream reality, who knows what that could be?
It could be a teddy bear that smells like sulfur for no reason.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Right. Well, all right. I guess you know what? Actually, hang on. Let me double check something. I have an idea. Where is my do? Okay. I was double checking. I knew there was something in Natural Explorer about parties and stealth or something, but it was two separate things I was mushing together. So I would like for both Jasmine and I to stealth check while we go around the corner down that way. Just, just to be safe. So Arthur, while I'm making this check, he's just going to kind of like motion to the group, like just hang back for just a sec. Okay, so do you want me to make 2 checks?
Sure.
Okay, so 26 for myself and 27 for Jasmine.
You slip out almost entirely undetected. You round the corner to find that you are at the entrance to an operating theater. The hallway ends. It doesn't seem to be a room that it has placed you in. You can turn around and still see the corner and even the door where your companions still are. It seems if this is a trick, it is getting a lot more elaborate. The hallway seems to end with the entrance to a large room with a sort of half octagon of seats that look over a ledge to an open, almost stage. There's a lower bit and a raised bit with a wooden desk on it. Behind it seems to be, for some reason, the facade of a house with an overhang. And on either side are 2 doors that seem to lead up to this chamber that's created by this bay window and this facade, as if there is almost a viewing box.
Okay.
But it is definitively a medical operating theater. Medical students
with
would most
a bit
likely
of house
sit.
in it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is very strange. Medical students would, of course, sit in the chairs above, and then the operators would be below, and presumably either actual doctors or professors or other people would be in the room that is behind the bay window.
Okay.
But the sulfur smell gets stronger as you move towards this room.
Can I peek my head in and perception, like eyeballs perception?
Yes.
Okay. We'll just do that real quick and then let the boys know what we found. Well, apparently I suddenly went blind because I rolled a 1.
It's just such a bizarre thing to find at the end of a hallway, especially because generally these things are behind doors. You don't just walk and the hallway ends and an operating theater begins. And also just the fact that this is a dream realm. Is it going to change when you turn around? You don't know. And so that kind of throws you off.
Yeah. Obviously very confused. I'll just try to make my way back to the group and pray to God I don't end up somewhere else on the way. And if I get there, presumably, then I'll tell the boys, I found an operating theater with a bit of house in it. Just a small bit, little bit of house. And that seems to be where the smell's coming from, but I can't see anything, and Jasmine can't smell anything past it's really strong in there.
don't know what to make sense of that except to just try and go.
Right. Well, just figured I'd make an effort to scout it out. So
Yeah.
I guess
So
we're
you
heading back
all
there.
head back. Yes. Nothing seems to move. There's no weird dream swapping of rooms or anything. You all make it to this operating theater.
Thank God. Okay.
And
Well, at least a change of scenery is nice.
I've never seen an operating theater like this before. The house is definitely interesting.
Was there something else that's strange about it? I mean, besides the obvious bit of house.
Well, generally, I'm assuming that is where professors and doctors would stand. Generally, it's just either a window or just a different viewing platform that you get to from a different door, not a house. Or at least the architecture of a house. This is probably, I guess, cobbled together from her memories, and she doesn't quite remember what an operating theater looks like, and she approximated it as best she could, or just threw something in there to make it make sense. I don't know what's going on in her head.
Well, that's for sure. I don't know that any of us do.
Could I try insight checking Ethel? We're in her head.
Very true, which is why I'm like, there's a case for it.
I saw the look. I was like, that was good.
Yeah. I'm going to say yes. You are able to insight check her.
Okay. Because, I mean, Lark was literally trained on how to emotionally and mentally manipulate humans, so this is fine. And part of that is being able to read them. +3. Come on. That's only a
Good
12.
call.
So 15.
No, it's 9 + 3, so it's only
9 plus 3. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, she certainly has. She probably has gaps in her memory of what things looked like or assumptions about things. It's not uncommon for humans to categorize things very strangely, to associate two things together that don't make any logical sense, to cram bits and pieces of familiar things into other memories to make them make sense or fit with internal narratives they have. And so there is a possibility that something like that is going on, where she has, through this strange experience that she's had over however many years, began to connect her home life with the life she's spent under Dr. Argenta, and this has caused the architecture of this place to shift and show memories of home life alongside memories of the hospital, especially because her sister was probably not very nice to her, especially if she just gave her away.
So is there any other doors besides, like, do we need to go in the house, or?
It seems like yes.
Right.
Okay. So
Head up.
We knock.
Rerek want to knock.
As you
Or do we
approach
blast the
the
door?
doors, there's a
I always want to blast things.
staircase that goes down from either side of the student viewing platform to the stage. As you are crossing the stage, the sulfur smell gets very strong, as from behind the desk, rolling up, is a very large gelatinous mound.
Oh, great.
Tendrils come out from the bottom and wave around, and inside seems to be almost like seeing fruit through jello. Skulls inside of this strange thing. And the skulls seem to look at you, and it goes, well, well, how interesting. Outsiders here. Oh, how fun. Well, how did you get here?
Okay, Rerek, now you can blast it. Blast things.
This is Ethel Drinttal's mine, correct?
I believe so. That is what this poor woman seems to call herself. Yes.
We arrived through.
Lark's gonna pipe up and be like,
Ocean.
so you're not from here either, are you?
No.
And
I
who would
believe-
you have the pleasure of speaking to exactly?
Well, I don't have a name. I came from an entirely different place. But I seem to have hitched a ride to your material plane on a piece of flesh, I guess, that was surgically implanted into this poor woman. And then, well, I ended up here.
Okay, and that's
All I
about
can say
it on the
is-
things talking that shouldn't talk. Yep. I'm sorry. Do again.
Lark, or above game, does anybody recognize or understand what this is? Because it smells like sulfur. Any of the clerics might know. Lark's just gonna keep making small talk. He's
Sure,
just gonna be-
Percy, I don't know, make a religion check?
I'm going to say a religion check will not help you here.
Cool.
If you would like, you can make a medicine check, though.
I can do that.
Oh,
I'm good at
ew.
those. That's gonna be 23.
Ooh. With the mention of hitching a ride on flesh, there is a great possibility that this is either some sort of parasitic or symbiotic creature that has the ability to speak and is living in her mind.
Do I?
Mhm.
So it's too parasitic, so potentially not good for her.
Potentially, but there is also, it could be symbiotic, simply living in the house, not necessarily
Okay.
eating the food.
Right. Oh, you go.
Lark's just, while he's like thinking it through, Lark's just gonna try to keep the small talk going with it and be like, well, honestly, you can choose your own name. The name I go by is just part of my real name translated.
Oh, how interesting. I just never felt any of the names, at least none bouncing around in here, were fitting. I'm not used to having one of those.
Do you like it here?
Oh, no. It's terrible in here. It's falling apart.
So you want to leave?
Yes, I would like to.
Oh my God.
leave.
We're going to help it?
Well, I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to. I personally have accepted my death quite a long time ago as I began to watch this place fall apart. I was here when it was built, and I'm stuck here watching it fall apart.
Very conflicted right now.
Could you do me a favor, friend? I'll call you friend for now. Tell us what you've seen. I'm just trying to wrap my head around Ethel's situation. Could you? It'd behoove us and you, because we could help you get out of here a little faster if you'd like, possibly. But Lark's just gonna lay it on thick and be like, just tell me what you've seen, darling.
Well, it certainly is a very interesting place. It has shifted several times since it was built. The entire east wing just fell apart. That was the strangest thing. There used to be someone who would swing by, in a sense, a figment of her imagination named, I believe the name was Mildred Drinttal. She used to be a visitor, coming by every once in a while to check up on her sister. However, once the East Wing fell, she seemed to become a nurse and was walking around here for quite some time. I tried to correct the issue, but it seemed that no matter how hard I tried, Ethel, if that is what she's calling herself, seemed to put her right back in the role of nurse. I'm not sure how exactly that works. The minds of these creatures are so strange to me. But it definitely seems that it is falling apart and things are changing to fit that narrative. However, I will say I have found the lab that is run by another figment that's called it calls itself Dr. Argenta, is in a lab in the tower, which she has been building taller and taller, but it seems to be the center of this whole hospital. If he were to go, in a sense, this whole place would crumble and I'd be able to get out. But she seems to not really want that to happen for some reason. Seems counterintuitive. He's a very terrifying being. Very good with knives and putting things together that shouldn't be together. Yes. Those are the two you have to watch out for. Everything else is just random bits and bobs of people that she's smooshed together into things to fill out the population of this place.
Lark's gonna look at everybody else after getting the story out of friend.
What?
Are we gonna get Argenta?
So what do you, when you get out, what do you want to do?
Well, that's the problem. You see, I am made to live inside of other things. Have them be hosts, if you will. So once I get out, I will need somebody to live inside. Of course, I'm sure you can tell where this is going. You seem like intelligent beings. Perhaps one of you would like to host me. I promise I have a variety of insights that I can share with you. And I promise not to destroy anything while I'm there.
Nose
I
goes.
feel like Rerek would want him in there.
Oh,
because
God.
knowledge seeking and like you said, there are insights.
Roleplay it. What does Rerek say?
I don't know. Like Nino doesn't want anything to do with that thing, but I feel like Rerek would.
Yeah.
Go for it.
What does Rerek say to friend?
Friend.
Of course, you don't.
Well, what kind of insights do you have?
Oh, bits and bobs here and there. It's hard to tell. You know, things I've gathered from around here, things I've gathered from other places. I'm not even sure myself. This place seems to have taken a bit of a toll on me. Of course, you don't have to if you don't want to. You can just leave me here to die. I have accepted my death, like I said, but it would be a tremendous help.
Can I insight check this?
Yeah, can I also
I kind of want to do that.
Yes,
too.
yes, you may.
Are we all
changing
doing
dice?
it?
This one's been giving me shit all night. Different
Percy
people.
I rolled a nat 1. This guy seems great.
It's just such an alien creature that there's no face, there's no expressions. it seems, to read.
Lark only
My
got a
total,
7.
I got a total of 7 as well.
Yeah, this thing is just so alien and bizarre, and there's no face to look at. It's just a big pile of goo. There's no way to tell.
Jesus Christ. Investigation check? I don't know. I just
not
want
sure
to
that would
make sure
help.
it's gonna be a fucking.
Listen, here's the thing. If it wanted to hurt us, it could have done that by now. I'm not saying I'm on board. I'm just stating a fact.
I have
It's
enough
still kind of creeping me
shit
out.
going on in my whole deal already.
Yeah, we've seen what's in your head.
So I will have to respectfully decline. But the offer is very enticing.
And
That's the word we're going to go with.
unfortunately, friend, as one wayward traveler to another, I'm already spoken for in multiple ways for what you're asking.
Oh, how interesting. Well, of course, you don't have to make the decision now. But it would certainly be a help. Well, if you want to free me and possibly help this poor Ethel get her mind back, you will have to destroy the figment that is Argenta. However, if you just want to leave, there are front doors at the other end of the building. The nurse, Mildred Drinttal, has the keys to the lab, and Dr. Argenta has the keys to the front door. If you get the keys off of the nurse, unlock the lab, get the keys off of the doctor, and unlock the front doors, you can escape. But you'll leave her trapped in this place. However, if you destroy Dr. Argenta, this whole place will come crumbling down and unravel, and I will be able to escape, and she will be able to escape as well. Depends on what you're going for, I guess.
We're not getting around having to face Dr. Argenta, are we? He says,
Most
just kind of
likely
addressing
not.
the room.
Most likely not. It seems to be the linchpin that's holding this place together, the center of her, the whole reason this place exists. Once it's gone, it has no reason to exist.
Excellent. So then, how might we find Mildred without we've gotten lost so many times. The rooms are shifting around on us. How do we get to her?
Most likely persistence. As imaginative
Lovely.
as she is to come up with this place, she only has a limited number of rooms here. There's only a few that she can throw at you before you'll eventually make it there.
Okay. Well, then I guess, Rerek, you do what you want. I'm sorry, Mr. Goo friend person. I'm gonna go. Where's the door?
So there's that one there, and there's that one on the other side. I believe they both lead to the same place. Sorry if I'm a bit unhelpful. I've locked myself in here because frankly, I'm tired of having to try and deal with Mildred and Argenta. So I've locked myself in here. They don't seem to come in here very often. However, if you go through there, you go into the files room where there are various files. Don't look at the files. They're all blank. And then you'll go to the dormitory where all of the poor experiments live, and that is where Nurse Drinttal is. She patrols the place, making sure they all stay in their rooms and behave, although they don't tend to, so she tends to get the cane after them. But I'm sure you'll be able to find her. She's quite a large woman and quite loud, so you'll easily be able to find her. It's getting the
I'm
keys
sure
off
we'll
of her that
recognize
might be a bit hard.
I think you can leave that to me. All right. So anybody want to pick a door, and Arthur's just kind of like hesitating with his hand over one of the knobs.
Yeah, that works. Let's go for it.
Hey,
Yeah.
well, it was interesting meeting you.
Oh, yes, it was
I-
interesting meeting you as well.
Also, I've thought about being your host, but I feel like it's too risky for my brain to have another something going on in there, and I value my brain. So
Fair enough. Like I said,
Oh.
I've accepted my death long ago, so don't feel too bad.
Okay, and now I do, and he's just gonna walk through the door.
Toodles,
Well-
friend. I hope that the void embraces you.
Well, yes, it will be a welcome reprieve, but, well, I guess I'll see you if I see you next. And he slithers back under the desk, squeezing underneath and just vanishing.
Right.
As you open the door, you expect there to be like furniture, like a house, but there isn't. It has the same architecture, and it kind of has a low area and a bit of a step up to the place where presumably a living room or a dining room would be, but it's completely empty except for 2 sets of stairs that lead up to the 2nd floor, where obviously the room behind the bay window would be.
You said this was the
You did.
file room?
Yes,
Yeah,
you believe.
Don't look at the files. They're blank.
Kind
Yes.
of looked to see if they're blank.
You go up and you do look at the files, and yes, they are blank. There is
When would Ethel have ever read them?
If you know our friend is not a liar, well, about this at least.
Oh God, I don't want to talk about it. Are there any other doors in here? How many doors? Are there 6? Is there just one?
There's only one at the back, but you can
Hey.
see through the bay window. You do see very clearly see the operating theater.
Wonderful. I guess we'll head for that door. There's not much else in here.
Yep, you turn the knob, open the door, and there is definitely a smell like a barnyard that wafts in. The smell of wet animal, hay, probably slop, maybe a bit of feces. You definitely hear a sort of roar of noise, the clattering of plates, the shouting of people, the noises of various animals. And at the end of the hallway, there is once again, another turn, and there is a looming shadow that moves of a very large woman before it just moves away, and you can hear the thud, 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 thud of heels on the ground.
All right. So presumably that would be Ethel, Arthur says quietly.
Mildred.
Mildred, yes, sorry. Should we maybe try to pick her pocket rather than, I don't know, a full frontal assault?
I
can we
think
ask her?
Maybe Lark can use his sticky fingers at a distance.
Potentially. No, I don't think asking her is a great idea. Remember, she's a figment of
no.
Ethel's imagination, so
It's
she'll
apparently
act
very, very
exactly
large.
as yeah.
she's a figment of Ethel's imagination and an architect of her torment. I think we should just kill the bitch.
Well, I wanted to do that back on the earthly plane, but All right, fair enough. I mean, I guess killing her in one form or another will be supremely satisfying.
Were any of you considering leaving this place like this?
I mean,
Only
no.
hesitation is a friend said something about Ethel not wanting this place to be destroyed. That could be, maybe she feels safe here in a way, but maybe she's keeping something in.
That is a possibility. I mean, who's to say how people react to trauma? It leaves a variety of different marks. Some people may end up with entirely contradictory viewpoints about the world in which they live. This could be that. She feels safe, but at the same time, she is surrounding herself with images of her own torment and not wanting to experience new things, might just want to dance with the devil she knows.
That's likely the truth. Yeah, I think we should help her.
Either way, I'm certainly getting a lot of information that can be used to help.
Yeah, I think what's up for discussion right now is whether or not we just attack Mildred, the largest woman I've ever seen, or try to get the keys without her noticing.
That's
Sleight of hand.
you and Lark are the only ones here with any real experience in that realm of things. Do you think you're capable?
I mean, I haven't exactly picked a lot of pockets, but I am pretty good at not being noticed about things. Oh, above game? Holy shit, my sleight of hand is a +8 and my stealth is +11.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back into character. I think I'm pretty confident about retrieving those keys.
So as you are planning your assault upon the figment that is Mildred Drinttal, we're going to leave episode 21 there. I will see you all next week, where we will find the exciting conclusion of how they're going to get the keys and what exactly is in the tower. And I will see you guys in about 5 minutes.